All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful webinar session. We usually have a webinar series on days like this, and this is another special pack that we're having today. We're going to be discussing something very amazing, a topic that is very dear to so many product managers like that, just starting in their journey, right, in their career journey. Um, the topic is building your product management career through mentorship. We are so privileged to also have a mentor here to take this, to take this topic with us. So it's actually a fully packed webinar. So it's a webinar that talks about mentorship and that is going to be taken by a mentor as well. So I will just permit me to take a little bit of time to let you know, like, our speaker, and just get you acquainted with our speaker before she starts speaking. So today we have Sharon IKECHI. She's currently a product manager at um, Workplace. Sorry, she's currently a product manager at Symply, right? Sharon IKECHI is a product manager and she's a professional Scrum Master with over 3 years of experience collaborating with globally distributed agile teams to develop products within the HR tech and ed tech industries. She is passionate about simplifying experiences and transforming learning using technology. Sharon currently works as a product manager at Simply, the easiest step and the easiest place, right, to use the easiest to use payroll and HR platform for business in North America. Um, she loves creating e-learning content for product managers and scrum masters. She volunteers as a product mentor on ADP list and with the Micro Bit Educational Foundation to support Africa's STEM educators within Microbits resources for teaching for teaching and coding in the classroom, or for teaching coding in the classrooms. Sharon Nkechi is a leader. She's a thought leader and an experienced mentor in the product management space. She has a vast experience in making sure that every mentee that she takes on gets to their destination, which is to be successful as a product manager. Permit me to introduce or invite again Sharon Nkechi to take us on this topic, building your product management career through mentorship. Sharon, you're welcome. And just pardon me for skipping. Actually, I had a stressful day, so I'm trying to just put myself together. Yeah, but pardon me. Um, Welcome, Sharon Nkechi.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cindy, for the introduction.
Okay,
That was
you're
an
speaking, but
awesome
I can't hear
introduction.
you. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one.
Can anyone else hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for the introduction. Yeah, it's so good to be here, and I feel honored to be here. I would like to appreciate the people in the product community leaders for organizing this session and for inviting me to speak. Okay, so I'll go ahead and share my screen and give my presentation. And I'm not sure how many minutes I have, but I know there will be time for Q&A after I give my presentation.
Yes, there will be time for Q&A.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can, but it's off now. We could see your screen
Okay.
before.
Okay, let me try that again. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen now.
All right, thanks. So today I'll be talking about building your product management career through your mentorship. I'll start with a brief introduction to what mentorship is, and then we'll look at all the ways mentorship can exist. So there isn't just one way to mentorship. And then I'll talk about the 5 steps in mentorship, the benefits that come with going through a mentoring experience, and I'll share some tips from my experience mentoring people, and then we'll go into the Q&A session. Yes, so I've been mentoring for the past 7 months on ADP List. And the reason why I joined the platform was because I wanted to give back what I was privileged to have at the start of my career. So when I was still trying to discover what career path to take and trying to know more about the product management role, I had a friend who's a senior PM and who's currently my mentor. So as at that time, that was about 2-3 years ago, I used to ask him so many questions about his role, what he does every day, how he solves problems, the challenges he faces. And that really helped me to just have a very good insight of the role. And it helped me to also make the decision quickly and to be sure of my decision as well. So I understand what it feels like to be at that discovery phase in your career, or to be at the start of your career and you're still trying to navigate through your first job. It's always great to have someone more experienced than you that you can talk to about the challenges you face, and then get recommendations or solutions that you can work with. And from my experience as well, mentoring people on ADP List, I've had a very good understanding of how one can make the most out of a mentorship experience, which is what I would like to share with you all today. So we can define a mentorship as guidance provided by an experienced person, right? And I tried looking for an image on the internet that would capture the entirety of mentorship, right? I found this picture. Now, looking at this picture, you can see that it's a one-way direction. You have the mentor with the resources, offering value or offering those resources to the mentee. So it's very one-way direction. When you think about mentorship as a journey, both the mentor and the mentee are on the same journey, right? The mentor doesn't have to quit what they're doing to offer value to the mentee. They're still on their own career path, but they're taking out the time to guide the mentee on their own path. So they are both on the same career journey. And what that means is that the mentor also has to feel supported to be able to offer value to the mentee. Now imagine if the mentors, in this case, it's a water can. If the water can dries up, and it means that he wouldn't have any more water or resources to offer to the mentee. So what that means is the mentee also has to see the mentor as someone who's also on their own career journey and has to also bring some sort of value to the mentorship experience, which could be in form of just supporting the mentor in a way, right? So let's see another picture that would be a better description. So I found this one. And it still gives the same sort of one-way direction, right? You have one person helping or guiding, that's the mentor helping, guiding the mentee. It doesn't really capture the mentee being in that state where they have something to bring to the table. Then I found this picture, and I think it's the best description, right? You see a mentor and a mentee coming to the table with something to offer, right? They both look like they have value to offer. They have value to bring to the table, and it's very like it's a two-directional nature. The mentor is offering value to the mentee, and the mentee is also offering value to the mentor, right? So they are both on the same journey. There's a balance, right? And we could have a context like this where it's just a mentor and a mentee, having a meeting or talking. It could also look like this, right? A group mentorship experience. I know that the PIP community has weekly group mentoring sessions, right? So you can have one person, a mentor, and a group of mentees, and then there's also that exchange of value. So here's some interesting stats about mentorship to back up its two-directional nature, right? So from what we can see on the screen, this stat shows that both the mentor and the mentee benefit from career growth. In this context, it's they are more likely to be promoted at work, right? They also get to benefit an increase in their confidence, right? They feel empowered from their mentoring relationships. You know, they also get that two-way inspiration. So the mentor inspires the mentee also inspires the mentor. So this is what the nature of mentorship's two-directional nature looks like, right? There's an exchange of value between the mentor and the mentee. So now that we're aligned on the two-directional nature of mentorship, let's look at all the ways that mentorship can exist, right? So there isn't just one way to mentorship. We could have mentorship hold on an application like ADPL's platform, for example. It's a mentorship app. It could also be in the workplace. You could have your mentor work in the same company that you do, and then you have your meetings or your sessions at the workplace. It could hold in communities like people in product community. I know there's like a question, a Q&A channel where you can ask questions, and then people that feel empowered to respond, you know, will go ahead and answer your question. So it could be in multiple places. It could also hold in multiple ways, right? It could be via call or an email. It could be an in-person conversation or in the DM. It could be a meetup or a webinar like this. So there are so many ways that mentorship could hold. So as long as both parties, that's the mentor and the mentee, are meeting for the purpose of growth and development, and they both bring value to the table, mentorship can take place in various places and in various ways. So the big question now is, what value can mentees bring to the mentorship table? And the reason why it's the big question is because answering this question will help you to take the right steps in building your product management career through mentorship. So let's look at the 5 steps in mentorship. And these steps are very specific to the product management role. We'll start with the very first step, which is identify the right mentor. And in this step, there are 4 things that you need to do to help you to identify the right mentor. The first thing is you need to know the PM skills. So I've observed recently that when you look at job descriptions now, you would see that they are written in a way that it's more skill specific as opposed to just centered around the work to be done, right? So what that means is when you break down work, you get the skills that all come together to achieve that work. Now, in product management, there are skills that come together that make up the product management role. And here's a slide that outlines most of these skills as it cuts across the PM role from the entire PM lifecycle, right? So from research to planning, design, development, launch, marketing, right? These are the skills that you will need to acquire and implement day to day on your job as a PM. Now, when you know these skills, at every point in your career growth, you would or you should know what skills you need to acquire next or what skills you need to improve on. So if you're just starting out, you probably have a lot of skills that you need to start acquiring, right? If you're already working as a product manager, maybe within your first year or your first 2 years, you also have a lot of skills that you need to improve on, right? So at every point in time, you know your skills, you know your skill gap. So what are the gaps? What do I need to acquire? Or what skill do I need to improve on? And that makes up your goal, right? I'll give an example. If you're working as a PM in a company and you get feedback from your manager, and the manager says the marketing team doesn't feel like they are aligned on initiatives as a product team, right? So you have to do something about it. That's a feedback that you need to work on. And that feedback can be linked to the stakeholder management skill. So as a PM, you have to come up with a plan to get the marketing team on board and aligned with everything the product team is working on at every point in time. So at that point that you've gotten the feedback, you know the skill you need to work on, stakeholder management. You know the gap, which is alignment, is the gap. And then you know your goal. Your goal is, to come up with a plan on getting the marketing team and other stakeholder teams on board with product initiatives. You also know your industry that you work in, you know the kind of products. Now, with this information, you should be able to identify and choose the right mentor for you. So what this means is just there will be so many people that can offer value to you, but to get the most from each person and to also serve your own goal better, it would be great to approach someone that has strength in the skills that you've identified, and you can know by their online presence, right, or the things they talk about. Some PMs are data PMs, so if it's a skill that's maybe data analysis, that's a PM that you would want to approach, right? So knowing the skills that the mentor is great at is also will help you in identifying and choosing the right mentor. So with all this information, now you are ready to approach your mentor with your questions, right? Usually that's how every mentorship session starts. You have a question. But before you go from step 1 to step 3, there's a step that's usually missed out, which I've observed, and it's very important because that's what will help you to get the most value from the mentor, and then to also save the time that you have to interact with the mentor. And that's the problem solving step, which is step 2. So before you ask your mentor the first question, you should go into problem solving mode. And you're taking the information you've gathered from step 1 into problem solving. So remember, your skill, stakeholder management, the gap, alignment, and then the goal. You want to have a plan on how to bring the marketing team, get them aligned at all times with what the product team is working on. Now, in problem solving, the first thing that you need to do is to research, right? So go online, read articles, watch videos on stakeholder management. When you do your research, you get more information on what's involved, and then you come up with a plan, right? So how can I get the marketing team aligned? Do I want to maybe create a product newsletter internally and send that out once a week? Or do I want to send email or a Slack message? You will have maybe 3 different plans you want to implement. You could stop as a plan, or you could even go a step further by implementing the plan and then outlining the gap. So what's the outcome? What happened after I sent out the email? Nobody responded, or maybe they did, but I'm still not sure if what I did is what I should be doing. Right. So you've implemented and you have a knowledge gap based on what you've done. Now you're ready to ask your question. Now, when you go into ask questions mode, that's when you're now interacting with your mentor. It could be a conversation, or it could be in the community channel, right? Or it could be a call, an online call, right? Now, to create your question should include the information or the things that you've done in the problem solving step. Instead of asking the mentor, how can I get the marketing team aligned on product initiatives, right? Which is the problem, right? Now you're going to streamline the problem to the skill, stakeholder management. Now within stakeholder management, you streamline that skill to the knowledge gap, which is the feedback you got from the manager and the plan that you came up with to get the marketing team aligned with product initiatives. And you could also talk about how you carried out the plan, what the outcome of that plan was, that's the outcome. Now with the problem, the action you carried out and the outcome, your question is now centered around improvement. So how can I improve what I've already done, or how can I improve this plan that I have come up with so that when I carry it out, it's the best, right? Now what you've done for your mentor is you've made the question small enough that he or she can focus on. You've also made the question very specific, right, to one skill, stakeholder management. So when you're thinking about the question, you're thinking about stakeholder management and also within your own context, which is collaborating with the marketing team. You've also made it very relatable for them, right? With the plan that you've come up with, how you carried out the plan, what the outcome was. They probably will be able to relate it to their own past experience, right? But these are ways you would have made that question better for them to answer. It's small enough, it's specific, it's relatable. Now they are able to tell you how you can improve the plan that you have come up with, or the next thing that you can do if you've already implemented that plan. And that leads to the fourth step, which is follow up. So after you've gotten an improvement strategy from your mentor, it's great to follow up with your mentor, and that can be either another call that you will have, or it could be a text message or an email. But that follow up will include the second action you carried out after you got that improvement strategy from your mentor. Would also include the outcome from that second action carried out, and that could either lead to requests for another improvement, or you could just stop there as, FYI, here's what I did. What this does is that it helps your mentor to stay to track your growth specific to each skill, right? When I mentor on ADP list, I keep notes of each person that I interact with. So if I'm having a second session with them, I pull up the notes. I can see the last thing we discussed. I can see what skill they're trying to acquire. I can see what we talked about, what the action plan was. And it's always great when the first question they ask me is related to the last thing that we talked about. It shows that they what I told them, they were able to. It was valuable to them. I'm also learning from their own experience too, because we learn from interacting with each other, right? So I get to learn from their own experiences, the things that they do, and it's a very good feeling just knowing that they're following up on the last thing that we talked about. So it helps your mentor to keep track of your growth. It also helps you too as well to keep track of your growth, so that at every point in time as you're growing, you have an idea of what your level is at or across the different skills in product management. And then the last step is appreciate your mentor. Very important, and you can do that. You can do this in different ways. It could be just saying thank you at the end of the session. It could be giving reviews to your mentor so that they know how valuable the session or the experience has been to you. It could also be through feedback, right? That would help them to know what to improve on, what they're really good at. And it could be giving shout out to them online or within a community. You could also show support to them if they have products or services or programs that they offer. You could patronize them, or if they have programs, you could show up at their sessions, just appreciating them in different ways. It's very great to recognize and appreciate people that support you in your career growth. So here's a review I got from my first mentee on ADP list, and I really like this review because it captures what I'm very passionate about, which is breaking down complex issues into very simple concepts that's easy to understand and implement. So I really like that he noticed that during the session, and that encouraged me to want to do more of that, like to want to help more people to understand concepts in product management, in product ownership. So I write articles for my mentees to help them to understand across the different skills that they're trying to acquire or improve on. So giving reviews is a great way to show support to your mentor and to keep encouraging and motivating them. So let's look at the benefits that come from mentorship. So the first benefit is that it helps you to make better decisions quickly. So I was able to benefit from this as well at the start of my PM career. Having someone tell me about his day at work as a PM, how he solves problems, this what it entails, help me to map that to my own career desires, the skills, the strengths I have when I think about my day-to-day, what I would like it to be. And that helped me to decide quickly that I want to become a product manager. And we still have mentorship sessions once a month where we get on a call and I share the challenges I'm going through at work with him. He's able to give recommendations or solutions or share resources based on his own experience and the things that he knows. So that has been very great for me in navigating my career. So it helps you to make decisions quickly. It also gives you more access to opportunities, which leads to potential for networking. So when you get access to maybe like meetups that you wouldn't have known will take place, and then you get to meet more people in your career. It could be a course that your mentor took, and now they're recommending that you take this course or you read this article to know more about this, right? So it opens the world to more opportunities for you in your career. And then even just feeling supported in achieving your career goal goes a long way, right? We all know that life sometimes can be very challenging, and we have a life outside of work, right? And sometimes work can bring its own challenges. But having someone that supports your career goals, and you can talk to about the problems you're facing at work, that support goes a long way in keeping you motivated and inspired. It also provides a way for you to self-reflect. I do a lot of self-reflection, think about things that have happened in the past in a way that you want to learn from it so that you can do better in the present and the future. So during mentorship sessions, you get to talk about maybe an event that happened at work, and you're asking questions about that event, sharing what happened, what you did. It helps you to do a lot of self-reflection, and that's a very great way to learn and improve. And then lastly, it increases your confidence, right? So knowing that there's an experienced person that has gone through what you're going through, and that person is available to you to talk to, when you need that person, to increase your confidence. It helps you know that even if another problem comes up next week, this person will be there to help me, right? So these are the ways you can benefit from mentorship. And then lastly, I'm going to share these 5 tips with you that I believe should help you as you continue having more mentorship sessions. The first thing that you need to do is identify people that have positioned themselves for mentorship or are offering guidance. So you would find such people on mentorship platforms like ADP List or in the PIP community. There are people that answer questions. They've made themselves available for that. It's easier for you to approach such people with your questions because they are already in that state and that headspace to offer value as a guide or as a mentor. And the second tip is send your session agenda to your mentor ahead of time. This helps your mentor to prepare for your session so that you can make the most of the limited time available for mentoring. So if you have your questions for that mentorship session, try your best to send it to your mentor before you meet. And then the third tip is that each session should address one product management skill, right? Don't ask like 10 questions at the same time and then your mentor has to touch different skills. You wouldn't get the most from your mentor. But if it's just one skill, stakeholder management, what happens is that your mentor is able to give you all the information or the guidance or the tips that you need in that skill, and you're able to talk a lot about that particular skill, right? And then you go back and you implement, then followed by you following up with your mentor. So if you have a session and you focus on just one skill, it's a great way to make the most of the time available to you. And then ask questions about the knowledge gaps in the work you've done. So remember, you have to do something before you approach your mentor. Your question should be about what you've done, what you've researched, the plan you've come up with, what you plan to do, and not just an open-ended question, because we learn by doing. So the more you do something, the more you know about it. And the more you know something, the more you also know what you don't know. So when you do your research first and you're coming with questions based on what you've done and what you would like to improve on, your mentor has an idea of what you don't know, and they're able to just target exactly that thing so you get a wholesome experience. And then lastly, avoid questions that could have been researched, except you are seeking a personal opinion. In that case, still do your research first. So for example, let's say the question I have for my mentor is I'm trying to pick a new data analytics tool for our team, right? So instead of asking my mentor, what tool should I use for to track data in our product, I could just go online and research the top 5 data analytics tool, do pros and cons on this tool, look at the company, the product team, the team, our goals, and look at which of these tools would serve us, right? Based on what I can see in the pros and cons. I could filter from 5 tools to just 2 tools, right? And now I'm approaching my mentor, and the question is, I would like to know which of these 2 tools I should be using based on this research I've done. I chose these tools because this is how it serves the company, this is how it serves the product, and it serves the team. Now, your mentor is able to tell you what tool, recommend what tool to choose based on the context you've given them, as well as their own experience. That's way easier and faster to give a recommendation than just an open-ended question. So these are the 5 tips that I believe will help you to make the most from your mentorship experience. And in conclusion, to build your product management career through mentorship, always communicate what you know and have done with your mentor so you can learn what you don't know quickly. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm Sharon IKECHI on LinkedIn, and on X, I'm at Sharon_IKECHI, the PM Go. And yeah, thank you. We can go into the Q&A session now.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much, Sharon. Like, this was really a very insightful session. You dealt with so many things, and I won't lie to you. I mean, for me, I'm just going to have to also go back to, this video again and learn for myself, right? And yeah, for everybody around me. All right. So, I mean, guys, you can keep appreciating Sharon, using the reaction button. Um, just keep it coming, keep it coming. She's really a rock
Thank
star.
you.
She did an amazing job, really. If you had been listening to her like since the beginning of the webinar session, when they say Jesus, I've forgotten this word. Every something was a hit by back to back, that kind of thing. But I don't know what that word is again. All right. So I think one thing I really quickly got from everything you said today was really the fact that mentorship is not a one-sided thing. It could be, right, but again, it shouldn't always be. It could also be a two-sided thing where the mentor also benefits just the same way the mentee, right, benefits. So, I mean, I give it to you. You have my respect. Thank you so much for making this happen. And I really want to I can't wait to like let the questions start coming in. And I can see so many hands up. Funny enough, Bridget took the first spot today. So, Bridget, over to you. Our amazing Bridget.
All right. Not much of a question. I just want to appreciate Sharon for taking our time to come and share words of knowledge with us. And yes, I think I've been looking for a mentor. Now we have Sharon. Sharon, please come and mentor me. Please mentor me. And also for other guys too. Sharon will surely be coming on board, right? To also come and help in terms of a group mentorship session. So thank you again, Sharon. I can see other people's hand. Let me give the opportunity to ask questions. Thank you, Sharon.
Thanks,
All
Bridget.
right. That's a great news. Yeah. So everybody, you're going to be seeing more of Sharon going forward. So that's very, very nice and amazing. All right. I will just go to Oluwaseyi. I believe you have a question. And just before you take your question, Oluwaseyi, please, if you have a question, You can use the chat box, you can use the um, activity icon and just navigate through the Q&A session to ask your question, or you can also just use the hand icon to, to indicate that you want to speak. So anyone that suits you, we are here for you. So yeah, Jennifer, over to you. All right. I don't know, maybe it's Jennifer's network. I'll just move to Chinonso. So Jennifer, when you're ready, and you can come back up to just speak. So Chinonso, over to
Hi, Ola, good evening.
yes, good evening.
Yeah, Sharon, good evening, and thank you for the section. I wanted to ask, or I am asking, the talk on mentorship for me has really been, uh, it's just been, it feels like a far-fetched topic to me, basically because I'm still trying to find out how to make myself want mentorship. No, that's not me saying I'm proud or arrogant or anything like that. I just don't know how to go about. Um, I don't know. I don't know. How do I just get myself to want to get to be mentored? I don't know how this question sounds, but I don't know. I trust you. You may get a picture out of what I'm trying to say.
Okay, hi
Thank you.
Chan. So thanks for that question. It's an interesting question. So I'll put that back to you and ask you how would you like to be supported on your journey in product management? Because it could be that it doesn't work for you. That's mentorship. It could be a different form of support. It could also be mentorship in your own unique way. Some people don't like the idea of getting on a call or approaching people, right? But I mean, if you had a friend that you were really close with, an experienced PM, you could be just asking questions in a very casual setting or a casual conversation. Maybe that's what works for you. So you have to like think about yourself, like what works for you, how you would like to feel supported, and look out for ways you can meet that need.
Okay. So from thank you for responding. From your response, I I deduce that it's just me getting to find out uh what angle I need help. First of all, that I need assistance and what angle I need assistance from. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So what kind of support you need, how, so even just start with why you would need support, because why is it's important. That's like the very first start in like question three, right? You start with why you're doing something, and then you move to what, and then you go to how, right? So ask yourself why you need support in your career. So maybe you're still stuck at that why stage, and that's why mentorship looks like you said far-fetched. So start with why and then go to what support you need, and then that would now help you to inform the next question, how you would need the support.
All right. Thank you for responding again. And sorry, I know a lots of hands are raised, but just you guys should just pardon me. Okay. So do you think for before someone could, venture into um wanting to be mentored, the person should have a mental picture of where they want to be to want to be mentored, because that seems to be the challenge for me here. There's no picture in my mind at the moment, so I don't even see a reason why I would be needing somebody.
Okay, so you're saying you don't have like a vision for your career in product management. Like if I ask you where you would like to be as a PM in the next 3 5 years, you don't have that clear picture. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, for the most part of the time away from the product management journey, it feels like that's been who I've been for a while now, and it just feels like the day comes, we just live through the day, and it feels like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of task planning out, like goals, and okay, in 10 years time I want to be this. It feels like a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I understand that feeling. The PM role is a very busy one. There's so many moving parts. Your day could be a lot, so it could be hard to have that quiet time where you're just reflecting or just thinking about your career long term, and even maybe the free time you have, other parts of your life take up that time, right? So being stuck in that phase is normal to feel that way. What I would suggest that you do is just go with the flow, right? You're in the present mode, right? Right now on your job as a PM, what's that skill that's demanded, from you, that you need to add to your team in form of value? Or what skill do you need to improve on right now? So start from there. When you identify the skill, it's possible that you already know how to acquire that skill. Maybe you know a course you need to take or a workshop you need to enroll in. You know, just do something about it and then start implementing on your job. You'll likely come across different outcomes that may or may not favor what you desire or may not meet your goal. In that situation, maybe what works for you is just doing a simple Google, like ask your question online, or you may now have the need to want to ask someone so that you're able to get that response quickly, right? So when you get to that point, now there's the need for you to speak with someone more experienced. And like I said, there isn't one way to mentorship. It could be a DM conversation, it could be a phone call, it could be booking a session on a mentorship platform, it could be Q&A in the community, right? So just go with what works for you and start with the present. Don't feel too hard on yourself that you don't have the time to think about your career long term. I believe that as you get better at just dealing with the present, then you free up more time to accommodate the future.
Right. Thank you so much, Sharon. Let me give every other person the opportunity to ask their questions. I'm grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Amici. Thank you for that question. And thank you, Sharon, for providing much context and clarification as well. All right. So we'll just move over to Kunle David. Kunle, good evening or good day. And please, let's have a question. Thank you.
Good evening, all. Good evening, Sharon. Thank you for the insightful demonstration or insightful, what's it called now? Information that you've given us. My own question is very straightforward actually. I'm an aspiring product manager. I've just finished a course in product management, for the past 3 months now. So I've decided to build a product on my own to sort of develop my own portfolio that I have some portfolios already, but I want to add to it. So in doing that, I've invited some other product managers, UX designers, and in fact, an agile project manager. But I noticed that in doing this, we're making a lot of mistakes, in the project development lifecycle. So my question is, I'm wondering if you'll be open to coming on board as an advisor, right? So that you'll be able to advise us on the steps to take if we're taking, even if we're even doing the right thing, because I'm not sure, I'm new to it. I'm only following the script according to the way I was taught. So, but which will be different in real life. So that is why I have an issue.
Okay. What I will say thumbs up to you for taking that initiative to build your own product, to work with the various cross-functional teams so that you have something in your portfolio. That's very good, because when you start applying for jobs and having interviews, the questions they ask you, you'll be able to refer to things that have happened, on the project to answer those questions. It's a very great way to land your first job in product management. And it's also normal to experience, to be in the state that you guys are, which is maybe being confused about certain things or not knowing the next step to take. So in this context, it would be great to have someone guide you, which is what you're requesting. I'll say that I'll send a link in the chat, and that's the link to my profile on ADP list. So anyone that wants to have a session with me can book a session through the link. And
Okay, I booked a session already.
oh, okay, yeah, nice. So it could be a group call, so it would be great to have like others on the team on that call as well, if that's what you would want to. So I've sent the link, and I would say that's all I can do now, because I have Monday to Thursday, I have 1 hour every day for mentoring. So as long as it's within that time and you're able to book a session, then I'll be happy to guide you as much as I can on your project.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much, Kunle, for your question, and thank you, Sharon, again for the clarifications. So I'll just move to Muyiwa. Muyiwa, please, let's have you.
All right, thank you very much, Ola. Thank you, Sharon, for the insightful question, for your insightful session, rather. So my question is, the instances you gave, right, are for people that are already practicing, which instances you gave, which is quite understandable. For me, I'm still an aspiring product manager, right, trying to get my first role.
I can't hear Muyiwa anymore. Is it just me?
No, not just you. I think that should be network issues from him.
Structure my CV and all that.
Muyiwa,
And I've been,
sorry,
yes,
can
please.
you just roll back to like about 30 seconds? We couldn't hear you for a while.
Okay.
Sharon, I think it's still the same thing, right?
Yeah, I can't hear him.
Okay. So I would guess his network is bad. Muyiwa, if you can hear us, right? Just we have about let me see, we have just 9 minutes more. So you can use the chat box, like just in case you can't really ask your question because of your network. So you can use the chat box quickly to just put out your question, and let's see if we can still take it. So is there any other person who wants to ask like a question or get clarification at all? Okay, I can see a question on the chat box from Pelumi. Let me read that to you, Sharon. Were you always a product manager from the start of your career, or did you transition into the role of a product manager? What skill or experiences were most valuable in making that transition? That's a question from Pelumi.
Yes, so I did not start out in product management. I started out in curriculum development, and then I transitioned to products. And the skills and experiences that were most valuable. So, firstly, it was my strengths, I would say, that helped me in knowing that the PM role was the right role for me, right? So, I realized that I'm very good at organizing. I'm also very good at being creative. I'm great at I call it mind mapping, like just putting things together in my mind in a way that makes sense, organizing thoughts. And then I also enjoy research, right? And I thought it was project management initially, but then I realized that with creativity, it wasn't project management. Like it was a product that I'll be able to, leverage my creative skills, that creative thinking, or just my creative thoughts, right? So knowing more about myself, discovering my strengths helped me to find out more about the product management role. And then there were a lot of transferable skills as well, like just with documentation, technical writing, then my experiences as well in project management previously. So as a curriculum developer, I worked with, at Andela, I was required to build a curriculum on Agile and Scrum framework. So I got certified, and I also started, enjoying just talking about Scrum. And that experience as well helped me to land my first role in product management, right? Because we all know the importance of Scrum and Agile as a framework in managing products. So I would say that it all came together to help me to discover and transition quickly, and easily as well. So, and then with the skills that were most valuable, I would say they're very generic skills, actually. When you look at the PM skill, like stakeholder management is something that most manager positions would have to learn how to do. So if in your company where you work, if you're already at that position where you have to bring teams together and get them more aligned, that's stakeholder management, right? And then there are other skills like communication, right? How you communicate, your collaboration skills, project management. So I would say that if you have, even if it's just 3 to 5 skills that you already have, then you have a good head start with transitioning to product management. Okay, I hope this answers the question. I'm going to share an article I wrote about my transition journey, and it includes just that discovery phase that I talked about, as well as the skills that were required, and just how my journey was really. So, and I'll share that in the chat.
All right, Sharon, thank you so much for that answer. And I would just like to quickly, I don't know. So we have a question from Teniola. Hello, Sharon. How easy can it be for me, a customer support rep, to transition into products? Yeah, that's the question. Then I'll just take, after that, I will take Muniwa's question, and that will be all.
Okay. So I think it's pretty easy, because from the people that I've mentored so far that are trying to transition, some of them, or I'll say most of them, are coming from the customer support role, right? And the reason why it's a very good step is because as the customer support representative, you need to have knowledge of the products that you're supporting your customers in, right? So they probably train you, and then the things you do every day requires that very good knowledge. You also get to acquire some transferable skills like stakeholder management, because your customers are stakeholders. You probably also work directly with other internal teams as well that you need to report to. So, and then communication, collaboration, documentation. So if you also write the maybe user documentations for your or support docs rather for your customers, that means you're also great at technical writing. So all these skills, you will see them in product management, right? So it's easy for you to take that step because you already have these transferable skills, and even easier if you're landing your first job within the company that you're working at. So that's like an internal transition, right? So the company would want to, if you tell your manager, for example, that I would like to switch roles to product manager role, if the company is supporting that journey, will be open to having you join the product team, because you will be bringing in some very unique skills within customer support that's required, which is understanding the customer, right? So I would say yes, it's pretty easy for you to transition from customer support role. And then the other part would now be where you come in to just do things like acquire the knowledge you need, take courses, join communities, attend programs, study, take mentorship sessions. That's it.
All right, thank you so much for that answer as well. I'll just take the last question, and we'll call it a day. So there's this question from you. I think that was what he was trying to ask. Let me just rush it as fast as possible. My question is, I am still trying to get my first role as a PM, and the most of my questions right now will be around interviewing, right? CV structuring and everything about trying to get a job. But beyond those, how can I take advantage of mentorship or get the best out of mentorship to be able to learn more on product management skills like you outlined on your slides? So yeah, That's the
Okay.
question.
All right. So yeah, Muyiwa, in this context, I remember the first step, which is choosing or identifying the right mentor. For you, it's going to be someone that has positioned themselves to support aspiring PMs or experienced PMs on interviews. So taking interviews, creating your resume, um, working on projects that they would like to give you during your application process. So there are PMs that are great at that, and like on ADP lists on each person's profile, you would see what kind of mentorship, what kind of product mentorship they offer. Right. So meeting such people, you will get the most from them because they do that every day. They're probably updated on how interviews on how PM applications has been growing over time, right? So I would say you can leverage mentorship by just choosing the right mentor that has positioned themselves for this.
All right. I'm sure Muyiwa got that feedback. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, before you go ahead, I think the second part of the question that I haven't touched on, which is how do you get the best out of mentorship to be able to learn more on PM skills? Okay, so that means you're interviewing, you're applying for jobs, but you also want to acquire more PM skills. Yeah, that's a very good question. So what I would advise that you do is you need to be familiar with the product life cycle. 5 or 6 stages or 7 stages involved, and be familiar with all the skills required in each stage. Now, you want to start from the very first stage because you can't jump stages, right? So, research, your UX research is the first stage. So, what are the skills required in UX research, and how can you start acquiring those skills? So, since you don't have okay, you may have a product that you are maybe volunteering on, or maybe something you're doing with a group of friends. And if you aren't, you're just in the study phase, which is also okay. You could just start asking questions about those skills, reading about them, writing about them, just to start learning more and broadening your knowledge of the skills in research, right? So when you start your mentorship sessions, you just focus on skills in the very first phase and understand that phase as much as you can, and then you move to the next phase, right? It helps to go in that direction because when you start if you skip research, for example, and then you're learning about planning, you would see that there are so many gaps and you might get confused. So that's why in a curriculum, for example, for a product course, it will start from the very first step in the life cycle, and then it will progress up to the last one. So I'll suggest you go with that approach, and hopefully that helps.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sharon. We really had like a very wonderful time today, and I'm sure everybody on the call can also like testify to that. The other time when I was introducing Sharon, right, I mentioned the fact that she's very, she's a very happy person when it comes to mentoring and teaching people, right, and guiding people literally. And you can see she did it happily today as well. And I'm even glad that she's also going to be here with us like more going forward. So like, coming for group mentorship session to even be a mentor, right, to everybody in the community. It's a big win for everybody. All right. So that being said, can you one more time, everybody, just appreciate Sharon as much as possible? And as we are all doing that, I would just like to say, we usually have this webinar series, or we usually have this webinar, right, as a series. So today's series is over, and we are going to be having another series very soon, which everybody is going to like, of course, know about. And of course, still keep in touch with us in terms of our usual community activities, like our check-in calls that happens on Saturdays, and also our group mentorship session or interview prep session that happens on Tuesdays, right? Interchangeably. So please don't forget these meetings. Try to join us every time you are available. Basically, if you are not available, make time. when you want to go and don't let me say what I want to say. But yeah, if you want to like really get to do something, you always have a way to go around it. So yeah, thank you very much everyone for joining this evening, and happy Thursday. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
You love you,
Sharon.
Sharon. Yeah.
Love you,
Bye.
Sharon.
Bye.
Don't bite
Thank
me.
you
All
so
right. Thank
much.
you guys for joining. Thank you. Do have a lovely evening. Bye for now.
Okay, bye.